Artificial intelligence, AI. It's something that many people fear and not everyone fully understands. Regardless, AI technology is rapidly advancing and entering our workforces. Newsrooms are far from immune, so some of us at Flatland wondered what would happen if we let AI write an article. So to start, let's go and open ChatGPT, which is one of many text-generating AI services. There's quite a few out there. So let's ask it to generate an article about housing in Kansas City. As I go through and fact-check this, it looks like it made up these sources and their quotes, which is not very good. But maybe I'll try something more specific and give it a target of where to source from. Quotes with the Department of Economic Development. So I gave it a place to source from. So I'm going through and fact-checking some things in here. And it looks like the article includes real numbers, though they are a bit outdated, so I would pull from some more updated information in an article. It also quoted a former director of the program, not the current, and so I think all these quotes are made up because I can't find them anywhere, but I think it would have been better to quote the director of Broadband Development Office, just because it's a little bit more specific, but I didn't specify that to it, so I guess, that's one of those things that AI wouldn't know, but a human would know or get directed to by speaking to other humans. Okay, let's try something a little easier and give ChatGPT even more guidance and see if that kind of yields a better result. We won against the Buccaneers. I'm not really sure why it came up with such false information on this, but I think we get the point. ChatGPT is not going to replace the writing, interviewing, and fact-checking of a journalist. But that doesn't mean that ChatGPT and AI can't be helpful in a newsroom. The report shows that most newsrooms felt they would benefit by using AI to complete repetitive, menial tasks because this would allow reporters to spend more time covering and investigating other topics. These tasks ranged from super simple things like entering metadata on photos to more complex things like scanning local agendas and meeting minutes to determine if anything newsworthy happened during those meetings, especially in newsrooms that have very few reporters, few resources, or a large coverage area. To learn more, I reached out to Amy Reinhart, the program manager for the AP's Local News AI initiative.
Academia has lost its mind over this because they're very, very, very concerned about students writing essays written through ChatGPT. I think the second industry that's losing its mind over this is journalism, because generative AI is going to affect industries where words and images touch down, and that's journalism.
I don't like it. Okay. It's a word salad. I don't like that headline. As we relate to technology, increasingly we are outsourcing our minds. We don't stop and think. We ask the computer to solve it for us. We have a question. Instead of actually using the mind that you've been given to bring up knowledge that you may well have, we automatically Google it. And that may be more efficient in the moment, but it dehumanizes creativity. Journalism and the disbursement of information has been adapting to new technology since the invention of the Gutenberg press. Most of those technology advancements have been in the realm of production and distribution. Now it's becoming more of an issue of the creative process, and so it is an interesting moment.
It's also important to note that we already use AI in many forms. I use it almost every day for transcription services. We use it to create graphics from data, generating metrics as far as website visitors. Even the autocorrection built into a word processor or into your phone is a form of AI.
Good technology, you don't often realize you're using it. All of those things are predicting what they think you meant. And they're so fluid and part of our lives now. And I do think that will be part of this. Now, if you wanted to use a chatbot like ChatGPT, not for reporting, but maybe you're short on editors, maybe you're a 3-person newsroom, and you want to be able to summarize the article you just wrote, or write a Twitter thread with it, or do A/B headline testing. It could be really helpful with that. Maybe you're the only person covering the beat in your newsroom and you want to bounce some ideas off. And it might not be the story you report on, but it gets you thinking. So in some ways, in the absence of colleagues, it could fill that gap. But again, there's always that human in the loop. It's you who's discerning, yes, I'll use that, or no, I won't, or hey, that thing makes me think about another thing that is related, and now I'm going to go do that. So I do think it could be a good assistant and useful in that way. And for local newsrooms who maybe don't have a marketing department, they do now.
Okay, I'm gonna ask it to write a viral tweet about public media. Imagine like little people inside the computer writing these. Sure, here's a possible viral tweet about public media. Public media is like a superhero that fights for truth, transparency, and democracy. It gives, I feel lame that I'm like entertained by this. It gives a voice to the voiceless, inspires lifelong learning, and connects communities like nothing else. Hashtag public media, hashtag journalism, hashtag democracy. Can I ask it to do something else? Kansas City reigns supreme once again. I don't know if I would use an exclamation mark. The Chiefs have taken home the Super Bowl title, and we couldn't be prouder. Congrats to our hometown team. Hashtag Chiefs Kingdom. It knows the hashtag. Super Bowl champions. Oh yeah, I can see it being useful for summarizing 1,500 plus word articles, but I think I would always be nervous that I'm like missing something, or that it's missing something, or it gets something incorrect. I could find myself probably spending time to make sure that this thing is correct versus, just and like plopping it out there.
It's a tool, not a solution. I never want to take the human being out of the process. There always needs to be a human being in journalism to manage it, to fair, accurate information, trustworthy information.
I think a lot of journalists are concerned about how these AI models are trained. So the AI models are trained on, well, we're not sure. It's the breadth and depth of the internet. What does that mean? It means a lot of things. And there's a lot of, as much good content on the web as there's also a lot of bad content. And something like ChatGPT specifically doesn't tell you, hey, PS, we got this from a reliable news source. It doesn't. So I think it's really important for journalists to understand that concept and to communicate when they can with audiences if they use generative AI in any facet of their reporting. Is just to be very clear of we're in a new technology terrain right now. We are testing things out. We may get it wrong, and when we do, we're going to follow up as quickly as we can. If newsrooms were better at telling their own story, they wouldn't maybe be in the situation they're in right now, which is shrinking newsrooms, shrinking profits, all that stuff. So more information is better than less, and people are really curious and worried about this technology, and as much as newsrooms can do to help them navigate it and not stoke panic would be hugely helpful for our industry and the world at large.
We'll keep writing and producing our content here at Flatland, but as AI slips into that process, we'll keep you in the loop. Thanks for watching.
I don't know how to feel about ChatGPT still.
There we go, that's the quote.